welcome to another weekly weigh-in video. If you're new here, hi, my name is Rachel and I am currently losing weight on the 1-to-1 diet by Cambridge Weight Plan. I have been on the plan now for 34 weeks and in that time I have lost a total of 7 stone 10 pounds, or I believe 109 pounds, going from nearly 20 stone to nearly 11.5 stone. So I am so proud of that journey. This is going to be a bit of a different update video because I feel like this week I've had a real, a real clarity over kind of where I want to go going forward from here, and I think we're going to talk about that a little bit more today. But if we go to this week's weight loss, because that is sometimes what people just want to see. This week I weighed in and I had my lowest loss on plan this week. I lost 3/4 of a pound, which it is what it is. There's not a lot I can do about that. I know that I've worked really hard and that is just one part of a much bigger journey. So if you've been around for the last couple of weeks, you'll know that I've been teetering around kind of the 2 pound loss. I have been using the Renpho scale, so I have seen again this week that my muscle has increased, my water's increased, which is really good, and my fat percentages are dropping, which is just fantastic. And this is all because I've decided to incorporate exercise more into my lifestyle and what I want from plan. So when I started plan, my target, if you like, I said I'm going to lose 10 stone, but what does that mean when you weigh nearly 20 stone? You have no idea how your body is going to look the closer you get to goal. And I think I've really been struggling with that lately because I've been like, well, actually, I don't necessarily know that I would want to lose much more weight, but what I want to do is tone up my body. And that was a real conflicting thought for me because I was like, I'd always said that that was what I wanted to do, but I just wasn't, that wasn't ringing true to me anymore. That wasn't giving me that drive as the exercise was. And I was finding that I was stepping on the scales every week. If you've been here for the last couple of weeks, you'll know that for the last 5-6 weeks, I've lost 2 pounds a week. That's never really bothered me. I kind of step on the scale, see what I weigh, and then jump off and get on with my day. It wasn't something that was really impacting how I felt, which was fabulous, but that was kind of telling me something at the same time because I didn't have that same drive that I had before with the weight loss. So what did I do in this situation? As always, I spoke to Jem. She's like my confidant, my guide, my mentor in all of this, and that is exactly what your consultant should be. And before doing this, I kind of teetered with TDR. That hadn't really done much for my losses. I'd been on step 1B since I started my journey, and I knew that I needed to get to 11 stone, I think it's 3 or 11 stone 4 to qualify for skin removal surgery. That has always been my goal. Get there, job's done, I can get in for skin removal surgery, because whilst I've worked so hard to lose the weight, and it won't be the same for everybody because everyone's bodies are so different. My skin was in not a good position whenever I started this journey, so I always knew it was not going to be in a good position as I got towards the end of it. And I've got a good amount of skin that I want to have removed. I want to have my stomach done, my arms done, potentially my thighs done because they are bad. It's just whether or not I have them out a lot. But to enable that to happen, once I'm in the correct weight category, it is then just about building as much muscle as I can to, not become a bodybuilder, but to mean that when I have the skin removal surgery, there is like muscle to tighten the skin around, and it's not just like, bone and whatever else. So that has been a massive part of my journey, and I think that's where I've been feeling really conflicted because actually that's what I want. The number that I like, that figure that I plucked out of thin air 34 weeks ago versus what I actually want potentially don't marry up, and I've really started to realise that over the last couple of weeks. Now, regardless, my main aim is my health and improving my health and being a healthy mum for Poppy. And I really feel like I've achieved that. I am able to play with her, I'm able to run around after her, And I kind of feel like that box has been ticked. And this is why it's so important to always readdress your whys and why you're doing what you're doing. You know, why am I getting up at 5:30, 6 in the morning to go out and exercise? Why am I booking in to go and do exercise classes in an evening after I've been in work all day? Like, what is driving that? Why am I wanting to make healthy choices with my food? Why am I not just wanting to go, do you know what, sod it, I'm just going to go and sink into a Chinese? Like, my whys now are so different than the whys I had when I started Plan. And that's because when I started Plan, my whys were driven from a place of pain, a place of just a sad, low place. Whereas now, I'm driven to see how far I can go. I'm driven to see what my body can do. And that's a completely different driver to the one of losing weight. Now, given that I now want to be on I want to be exercising more, I want to be taking on those challenges of pushing my body and getting out there, and I'm loving it. I'm loving what's doing for my mind, I'm loving having that time. But this means that it is time to start moving up the steps, because I cannot be exercising and running and doing classes and being on such a low step. One, it's irresponsible to do, and two, you do not get better results. I'm a key example of that. I have done like step 2 by the letter this week. I always have, and that's not me being holier than thou. I just always have stuck to Plan. I've added in the exercise, and my loss is the lowest loss I have ever had on Plan. And that just shows you the reason why you don't exercise on those lower plans, because your body is stressed. So this week, I will be going up to step 3, and I am going to see how I feel on step 3, see what happens. And if my exercise is too much, you know, and it's still a stress on my body or whatever, I will step up to step 4. I need to get those 7 pounds off. Ideally, I need to get them off by the Slimmer Awards, but I'm doing everything I can, so I'm just going to keep going. If I'm a pound or two off, I'm a pound or two off. I'm not going to break myself, but I did want to hit my goal by that time. So I have got my steps booked, because guys, we aren't messing around. And for someone who's been on step 1B and step 2 for a long time now, this could be a really daunting transition. So I wanted to talk you through some of the things I've done to help that transition. But firstly, if we just look what step 3 is, it's 1,000 calories a day. So it is 2 one-to-one diet products, any of the products in the core range. You could have bars, shakes, all those products we love. Thank goodness, because I actually don't think I can ever give up my vanilla shake. Like, I don't think I can do that. So 2 products. Then it has a calorie allowance, and it does give you a guidance in the book, but you can change it up, which is what I will be doing. So the guidance is 150 calorie breakfast, a green salad, a 400 calorie dinner, and 200 mils of milk. Guys, I'm gonna have milk in my coffee in a minute, and my mind is blown. Anyway, and of course your water. Now, for me, what I have chosen to do, and what you can choose to do, what actually my sister did when she did it, because she did step 3 all the way throughout, is I'll be having 2 products a day, and then I will be having around a 400 or 500 calorie meal in the evening, and then making up the rest of the calories with like a high protein, low carb snack. So if you saw my stories, and you may be able to see over there, cooling, are some egg muffins that I've made. So just egg muffins, some corn bacon, mushrooms, stuff like that, to make those. I think they work out at like 43 calories each. They're a really good snack to have, and they'll be great for Poppy as well. And just making those got me really excited to like cook, and this is why I thought my kitchen was the perfect place to do this week's update. So yes, meal wise in the evening, then this can be a really daunting transition. You know, I've been on products primarily. I haven't had to calorie count, I haven't had to think about what I'm going to eat, I haven't had to plan it. But this is why the steps are so important, because actually this is why I'm going to learn how I will maintain my weight. You don't learn how to maintain your weight on the lower steps. I think you work through a lot of those mental battles with food, but you don't learn how to eat or maintain your weight. I think they're two separate things. They are for me anyway. So what I'm doing to help with the meal side of things is I've actually ordered a Gousto box. Now, why I really like Gousto is when they do good pescatarian and vegetarian options, if that is your persuasion. I have though decided I'm going to start incorporating some chicken into my diet. I know we eat veggie, but that is because of a health condition Jamie has. So whilst he's on plan, I'm going to incorporate a little bit of chicken, just makes it easier. And they have a Lean in 15, which is by Joe Wicks range, and they also have like a healthy options, calorie controlled options section. And most of the meals I picked are 500 calories or below, and they're amazing. And by doing this, when I get all of my meals measured out, I know what I've got to do. I'm going to go around the shop. I've not got to have that overwhelming feeling of shopping, and I get to try new foods, because when I was on before I was on plan, my diet was just beige. It was just boring, beige, fat, sugar, carby food. There was nothing interesting about the food I ate. It was boring, and I was bored of the food I ate. I was just mindlessly eating every day. So I'm hoping that Gousto can give me some inspiration of foods I like, and I can keep track of what I like, what I don't like, and then look to make it myself. So it worked out really well. I think it was like £17 for 4 meals, but because I'll half the portions, that's 8 meals. That's like a week's meals for £17, because my friend gave me a code. So yeah, it's definitely something that I would advise looking into if you are on one of the higher steps. I will include my link below. It's just you get a certain percentage off. I think I get credited a little bit amount on my account, but it worked out at like 60% off, and then more off on future boxes. So it was such a good deal. So if you're not with them, then have a look. It may be something that works for you, or it may be something that you just start eating your family's meals. You know, step 3, step 4, the higher steps, and maybe not as talked about on here. We hear a lot about the lower steps, but actually they are great tools for weight loss if you're not someone who wants to be solely on products. And I know so many beautiful slimmers that are succeeding on those steps. And I hope to also now successfully go on to my step 3 journey. It feels like I messaged Gemma this morning, and I was like, it just feels like a big like transition. And I think it's something that I've been kind of contemplating for a few weeks, and kind of been going back and forth in my head. And obviously I wanted to see how the Couch to 5K went and how the running went, but I'm absolutely loving it. So now feels like the right time, guys. It feels like I'm stepping into the next part of my journey, and I think that's going to be a whole new adventure, and it's definitely something I want to document on here. So I will of course be doing kind of cooking videos showing you what I have in my Gousto boxes each week, and I will just create a new highlight on my page. There's a step 2 highlight, there's a product highlight, we'll make a step 3 highlight, and you guys can come along with me for the journey. You've been there with me since day one, and your support honestly means the absolute world. And this was a bit of a daunting decision to make, and I definitely felt a little bit overwhelmed yesterday thinking about today. But you want to know one thing that made me realise that it was the right time is I didn't then think, oh, tomorrow, I'm going to be able to eat food, so I'm going to think about all the food I'm going to eat. It's literally just been like, right, okay, what things fit in plan. And why I love this steps book, which I think the steps book is really underrated, because it's so much good information in here. Like, honestly, guys, if you do anything today, just get your steps book out and have a little read through. But obviously we've got the step 2 protein and veg section, but if you go over onto the next page, they've got a step 3 to 6 guide for like veg, and then I think they do it for proteins and for whole grains. And what's brilliant is they have this like traffic light system down here, red, amber, green, and it just gives you an idea of maybe which foods you should have more often, which are going to be low like, is it GI, like the sugar spiking foods, they're going to be satiating for longer, and then which foods maybe you should just have in moderation because they're maybe a little bit higher in calories or what have you. So I've literally had this is out now on my kitchen side, looking through it to figure out like what to have, because this isn't about having 600 calories of bad food. This is about I'm nourishing my body. I've always said this, guys, we are nourishing, we are caring for, we are looking after ourselves, and we're not going back to those habits that we had before.